English, Standard 12, Unit 4, Prose, The Summit, written by Edmund continued. The summit of Everest reaches 2/3 of the way through the air of the Earth's atmosphere. At about the cruising altitude of jet airliners, the oxygen levels are very low. Temperature there is extremely cold and weather is unpredictable and dangerous. We came to know the strong willpower of Xii and Tenzing in 7th and 8th paragraphs to continue their dangerous expedition on trekking towards the summit Everest. Let us continue reading the rest of the lesson and understand the thrilling experiences of the two heroes. With a strong determination and willpower, Edmund and Tenzing decided to go on, and finally they reached firmer snow high up and then chipped steps up the last steep slopes and clambered on to the south peak. Chip, sizzle. Chipped. Breaking. A small piece. A small piece of the edge. So chipped, breaking a small piece of the edge, and sizzling, and clambered, climbing on ice wearing spiked shoes. Climbing on ice wearing spiked shoes. As my ice axe bit into the first steep slope of the ridge, my high hopes were realized. The snow was crystalline and firm. 2 or 3 blows of the ice axe produced a step large enough even for our oversized high-altitude boots, and a firm thrust of the ice axe would sink it halfway up the shaft, giving a solid and comfortable belay. When his ice axe bit into the first steep slope of the ridge, his high hopes were realized. When his ice axe bit into the first steep slope of the ridge, his high hopes were realized. The snow was crystalline and firm. As the snow was firm, 2 or 3 blows of the ice axe would sink the shaft halfway into the snow. It gave a solid and comfortable belay. Belay means belay. So belay means, to make a climber safe with a rope that has been fixed at a particular point. It helps a climber safely to climb with a rope fixed at a particular point. It means to control a rope that a climber is attached to and keep it tight so that if the climber falls, they do not fall very far. Belays are more difficult to secure on ice and snow than on a rock. Belays are more difficult to secure on ice and snow than on a rock. This is the picture of belay. See how difficult to secure on ice and snow. They moved one at a time. They belayed taking turns. In a number of places, the overhanging ice cornices were very large indeed. In order to escape them, Kilari cut a line of steps down to where the snow met the rocks on the west. It was a great thrill to look straight down the enormous rock face and to see 8,000 feet below them the tiny tents of Camp 4. It was a great thrill to look straight down the enormous rock face and to see 8,000 feet below them the tiny tents of Camp 4, scrambling on the rocks and cutting handholds on the snow. They were able to shuffle past these difficult portions. Scrambling means climbing hurriedly. Climbing hurriedly on hands and feet. Climbing hurriedly on hands and knees, and that too on your eyes. Hands and knees. Scrambling on the rocks and cutting handholds on the snow. They were able to shuffle past these difficult portions. Now, shuffle means a way of walking without lifting the feet off the ground. Shuffle. A way of walking without lifting the feet off the ground. So they were walking without lifting the feet off the ground. Shuffle. And the ridge was difficult to climb. There were giant cornices on the right and deep rocks of snow on the left. Kilari's progress was slow but steady. His progress was slow but steady. As Tenzing paid out the rope, Kilari inched his way upwards until he could reach over the top of the rope and drag himself out of the crack onto a wide ledge. As Tenzing paid out the rope, Kilari inched his way upwards until he could reach over the top of the rock and drag himself out of the crack onto a wide ledge. Taking advantage of every little rock hole and all the force of knee, shoulder and arms I could muster, I literally clambered backward up the crack, praying that the cornice would remain attached to the rock. My progress, although slow, was steady. As Tenzing paid out the rope, I inched my way upwards until I could crack over the top of the rock and drag myself out of the crack on to a wide ledge. So, Kilari just moved forward. You can see the pictures of ice axe, ice hammer and crumble, which they used to break the deep, firm rocks of snow. They used ice axe, ice hammer and crampon to break the deep, firm rocks of snow. Here is a drawing of the Everest showing the way to the summit and the positions of the camps with their heights. Let us together scale the summit. See, Kilari and Tenzing are nearing the south summit. They are moving towards the summit about 28,700 feet. See in the picture, Kilari and Tenzing are nearing the south summit. They are moving towards the summit above 28,700 feet. Let us continue reading and know the final, greatest thrilling achievement of them in the next class.